OnlySignal, great wordplay here, is the new signal from Alex Gonzalez and his friend ElSensei. It's a free public signal that will become paid once they reach 10% profit. So let's see if we can actually make money with it. Alex Gonzalez is arguably the biggest name in the industry this year. With his Super Bowl stunt and his public challenge to grow a $100 account into a $1 million account, all live in his Instagram stories. ElSensei is another big name in the Forex world, but more known in the Spanish-speaking and Latin American communities. What's really unique and interesting about their signal is that, thanks to this partnership, the signals are bilingual, English and Spanish. So the concept is simple. The signal is free for the first month, and with the profit we make during that free period, we should be able to afford the subscription for the following months, which should be something around 200 USD. Pretty smart idea. At the start of January, they opened access to the public group. Hundreds of thousands of people joined the channel. Hype was real. It all starts with a link to their website where you'll find a short course covering trading basics. Alex explains how to follow signals, covers risk management, and sets realistic expectations of how much money you can make by copying his trades. It's a solid foundation. He also gives a few tips. He recommends creating a dedicated account just to follow the signal and choosing a risk percentage you're comfortable with. And then sticking to that risk level no matter what. They will be risking 1% per trade. He mentions that back in December, he made 4%. So if you were following the signal with a $1,000 account, you would have made $40. Pretty straightforward so far. All right, we're now inside the public signal group, and here comes the first trade, or rather the first trade idea. So the price seems to be around their entry level, but there's no further info. And same thing for the second trade, it says to wait for entry confirmation. So we're all on standby right now. By the way, introducing trading times. Always keep track of the different trading sessions around the world. Know when to trade and when to take some time off. Clearly see the overlap between the major trading sessions all on one single timepiece on your wall. Add a mousepad to your order to get free shipping, and don't forget to choose your time zone. I'm guessing Alex is waiting for a certain confirmation pattern or signal before validating the trade and allowing 139,000 people to jump in. Wow, that's a huge number. I can't help but wonder if all 139,000 people take the same trade at the same time, will it actually move the market? Let's say everyone places a 0.1 lot trade, which is already a pretty conservative estimate. Well, that's 13,900 lots total. Man, I hope we're not all using the same prop firms because we'd definitely run into some liquidity issue. Anyway, back to the channel. Okay, now we've got a proper signal. As you can see on the screen, they say to short AUD/CHF with the entry, TP, and SL clearly given. And right after that, they show us the first trade idea, which actually would have worked out great. But Alex proves he's being honest. He didn't get the confirmation he was waiting for, so he didn't take the trade. So far, this is pretty interesting. You can definitely see the discipline and transparency. The next trade is a short on EU, a classic setup with all the trade details. This one has 2 take profit levels, but you can see that the message was edited, and that's kind of a red flag. When you're a signal provider, it's pretty important never to edit your messages. You could change a detail afterward to make it look like your entry was better than it actually was, or tweak anything else to make yourself look good. Anyway, the trade went straight to stop loss, so I don't think they tried to modify anything on purpose. Maybe they were just fixing a typo or a small mistake in the message. Everything happened really fast. Price hit the stop in a single candle. They told us to close the trade manually at break-even, but things moved so quickly that afterwards they admitted they ended up with a 0.5% loss. Still, it was a smart move to recommend closing the trade. With their experience, they probably felt that the trade was gonna hit the stop loss, so instead of doing nothing, they reacted fast to minimize the loss, and that's pretty solid. In a message that followed, they said a lot of people got stopped out. So to keep things fair, to keep everyone happy, they decided to count the trade as a full stop loss of -1% in their stats. Fair enough. So for the rest of January, they sent quite a few trades, and you can really see the struggle of a real trader. Everyone expected it to be just wins because the trades are coming from 2 of the biggest traders on Instagram. But personally, I think it's actually great because we can clearly see that they go through the same things we do. The same struggle we normal people face. The reality of trading is that it's not all wins. What really matters are the stats and being profitable over the long run, and not making money every single day. The trade on CAD/JPY hit the stop loss perfectly, and then it reversed back into profit. That's literally the most frustrating thing in trading, and honestly, it's comforting to see it happens even to the pros. Then, since the price had come back to their entry level, they decided the trade idea was still valid and went in again. In my own trading rules, I'm not allowed to re-enter a trade like this after taking a loss. But hey, if the new setup still respects your rules, then it's all good. That one got close too. Price came back and almost hit the stop loss again, but then it reversed back into profit. Good thing is, a few hours later they told us to move the stop loss to break even to protect the trade. So now it's either we make money or we lose nothing. So that's what we call being risk-free. The next message is a bit weird. Alex says he's got a ton of DMs from people frustrated because they got fully stopped out. And he says he's going to count the trade as a minus 1% loss just to please everyone. I don't really get that. He clearly said to move the stop to break even and wait for updates. If people can't read, I don't think it's fair for Alex to take the blame for that. Anyway, for the rest of January, there were small wins and small losses, but I really like the format of the messages. They include a lot of info, and if you take the time to read, you can actually learn a lot about their strategy and thought process. The free month is now supposed to be over. Over the course of the month, we received 14 trades, and out of those, 8 hit the stop loss if we count the 2 that really could have been break-evens. 3 were actually break-evens, and only 3 other trades hit the take profit. But despite only 3 wins out of 14 trades, we still ended the month up 1%. And this is where you really see the power of having a positive risk-reward ratio. So if you were risking 1% per trade, but aiming for 2, 2.5 or even 4% on your take profit, so then with only 3 winning trades, you can completely wipe out the losses of the other 11 trades. And let's be honest, they went through a losing streak. So if they manage to hit a winning streak, profit should come in pretty quickly. Following that, Alex and Sensei announced that they weren't proud of the results. They expected to perform way better, and they understand that the public was expecting more too. So for that reason, they said they'll keep the signal free for another 2 weeks, and after that, it'll be 200 USD per month. Can you imagine the pressure of trading live in front of 140,000 people? For free, by the way? And every time they send out a trade that hits stop loss, they get flooded with angry messages. Like, people don't realize how much that kind of situation messes with your trading psychology. It's incredibly hard not to feel pressure to perform just to please online strangers. Like, first of all, the signal is free, so you do whatever you want with it. Second, if a trade hits stop loss and you lose 10 bucks, how much do you think he loses? Probably 100 times more, and he knows it. So I really don't understand the people who send him hate messages after a stop loss. Anyway, let's hope the next 2 weeks go better. Let's go. The 2-week extension is now over, and the trades were still negative. It's really not a disaster. We're talking around minus 2%. But in this video,
we were supposed to launch if we ended up positive, and we ran into a little bit of drawdown with these last couple of trades. The results have been absolutely very challenging from our end with the pressure of everybody along with wick outs happening constantly. We decided to double down on our confidence on our strategy, and that is by continuing to have the signal group completely for free up until we managed to make 10%.
Alex explains that it wouldn't be fair to make the channel paid when he hasn't yet delivered real profits to the community. So he raises the bar even higher and announced that the channel will stay free until they reach a total of 10% profit. Moral seems good from what they're showing us anyway. So we're starting the month of March still in the free signal group, and we can really see that they are doubling down on their presence in the channel. We're getting lots of long messages with market explanations. This time, it's about the upcoming NFP combined with the unemployment rates. And they said they decided to stay on the sidelines and not take any trades. I think that's going to pay off. We're already seeing a shift. More and more trades are going into profit. But we're still getting break-evens and a few stop losses, and they still haven't hit the 10% goal. Now, they just slipped a little detail I don't really like. The latest trade we received on Euro AUD says to use 2% risk. But if it hits take profit, it won't be just a 2 or 3% gain, it'll be 4 or 6%. And that'll help them reach the goal of 10% a lot faster. But here's the thing, back in the course, Alex clearly said not to do that. He said to choose a risk percentage and to stick with it no matter what. At least they're being transparent with the strategy. They just clarified in the next message, if we lose 2%. If we win 4% plus. Oof, not long after that, full stop loss, 2% loss. And in the trade that followed and the ones after that, they went back to 1% risk like in the beginning. Honestly, I think it's a great lesson and a good example of why you should stick to a fixed risk.
So it's not really about risking 2%. Risking 2, 3, 4, or even 5% per trade is fine. What really matters is being consistent. We just took a 2% loss on one trade and now they've dropped the risk back to 1% for the following trades. So now it's going to take even more trades to recover from that drop.
And a couple days later, they announced they're now going with 2% risk per trade. You can feel the pressure must be building up on their ends. They started this whole thing back in January, and now we are at the end of March, and the goal still hasn't been hit. Momentum is probably fading, and I bet they're really eager to wrap this challenge up. The trade on GA ended up in a stop loss, another 2% loss. But now they've said they're sticking to the 2% risk, so once they start hitting take profit, things should bounce back pretty quickly. The next trade is a sell on Euro USD, and not long after that, ElSensei closed the trade at 2-1 for a 4% profit. So with that trade and the USD CAD trade that followed, which brought in another 4.5% profit, they really salvaged the week. You can clearly see that risking 2% means you gain, well, twice as much as before. So the journey to 10% should go faster now. And with all that, they ended up the week with 6.5% of profit, which brings the total minus 5% back to positive territories to around 1% of profit since the beginning of the challenge.
Fast forward, during week 11, we got 4 trades. One of them hit break-even and the other 3 hit stop losses for a total of minus 6%. Ouch. Yes, using 2% risk helps you recover faster, but only if you hit take profits with high risk-reward ratios. It's now been almost 3 months since these two guys started sending their trades in real time to the channel, and it's starting to feel like it's going in circle. But honestly, I love that we're seeing the real struggle of a trader. A lot of people think these guys are some kinds of trading superheroes, but in reality, they're just disciplined dudes who show up every day, sit in front of their chart, and do the work. Over the past few months, we've seen all kinds of different situations, different trades. And we've really gotten to see how pro traders handle the same market difficulties we all go through. How many times did they have the right trade idea, but they got wicked out right before the price moved in their direction? Or when they moved the stop to break even, only to get stopped out and then the price went all the way to the take profit. So all the little frustrations of trading, we've seen them live these past few months in that channel. Good morning. It's absolute chaos with Trump's tariffs. The markets are going up and down every day depending on whether Trump adds new tariffs or removes them.
I sit down at my desk, open the Signal channel, and boom, Alex and ElSensei have just dropped videos. Alex announces that OnlySignal is over, and just like that, the project is done. And now, he says he's shifting focus. He's going to show everyone how to make $1 million in profit live on his personal channel. In the video, he opens up a bit, talking about the pressure they were putting on each other and the weight of having 140,000 people watching every move they made. And yeah, I get it, that kind of pressure will mess with your trading psychology. Like I said earlier in the video, it's not easy trading under a spotlight. So here we are 3 months later, and the final results are around minus 5%. Not terrible, but definitely not profitable. It's not the kind of track records that pays the bills or build long-term confidence. And now we're pivoting to yet another $1 million challenge. Didn't he already do this exact same thing last year? And we all know how these usually end, a brand new trading course. Honestly, I don't know what to think anymore. Is this really about transparency and education, or is it just another lead up to a launch? Either way, I'm definitely watching, and I'm curious, how different will this be from OnlySignal? And how long will it take before that $1 million journey turns into a checkout page? So let me know what you think in the comments, and if he really does launch a new trading course at the end of all of this, you already know I'll be there to review it. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss what happens next.